Hey guys, so this video is a special video. As you can see in the title, I am officially open for commissions. I will tell you more about the details of it later near the end of the video. For now, let's get into the process of how I made this low poly chibi clown. Since chibi proportions are very different from normal anatomy, I first used cubes to put my mind into thinking that the head would always be bigger than the body. Of course, there are variations of body proportions for chibis, but I was following a rough sketch that I drew that you can see at the reference window. After shaping the body, I proceeded to make the legs. I added another cube since I did plan on rigging the model. These cubes were just temporary since I replaced it later with a pentagon cylinder. I found out that I really liked the look of the legs with this shape and that it made it easier for me to make knees look more natural. I didn't plan on making the foot move, that's why you can see it not separated from the leg. After that, I just tweaked the proportions of the model so that it would not be too far off from the reference drawing that I have made. There wasn't much too complicated things I did here. I just made sure that the model looked okay. Making the hair has always been the most challenging part that I do with all my models. This one particularly, I spent a good amount of time to solve. I first thought of making the hair flat and then just adding faces to later make it 3D. But it turns out that that method was pretty complicated, so I had to make a new approach. My new approach was to use cubes. I curved the cube mesh to make it accurately look like the bangs that I drew in my reference. This method was tedious, but it was quite effective in my opinion. Being able to manipulate the groups of bangs made it easier for me to later combine all these meshes into one piece. Aside from the bangs, I had to make the hair on the side of the face. Similarly with the front bangs, I extruded a couple of faces from the bangs and separated it later to shape it as a side bangs. This was tedious but doable. I had to rotate some of the edges just to make it look more natural. I later reattached it with the main bangs so that I wouldn't have too much meshes floating around my timeline. The main mass of the hair was pretty quick to do since my first approach for the hair worked on this portion. The overall shape was like a sphere, so shaping it wasn't as hard compared to the bangs. The pigtails, if that's what it's called, were simple enough to make. The shape was still pretty complicated, but since I've been making this model for a couple of hours now, I didn't mind it too much. For the dress, I thought of making a separate dress mesh. However, I realized that doing so would make the model too complicated. So what I did was just extrude a row of faces and mold it into a cone-like shape. I deleted the excess faces so that the model wouldn't be that messy. As for the arms and hands, it was pretty straightforward. I did add a puffy shoulder for the dress, but other than that, it was the same process like before. Alright. While the video is showing my time-lapse for texturing, I will now be making my announcement. As soon as this video drops, I will be available for commissions. Now hold on, since it would be my first time doing commissions, there would be just 3 slots available for now. I'm still a student, so I would have to find ways to divide my studying and doing commissions. I do hope you guys understand my situation. Along with the drop of the video, the details for the commission would be posted in the community tab in my YouTube channel. Basically, one model would be around $20. All the body parts, hair, texture are all included in that price. there would be an additional $5 only if you want extra props like a sword or a gun. There would also be another $5 charge for added complexity, like separate fingers for the hands, but only if you requested for it. If you are interested, do message me at my Twitter and Instagram account. Both are at ArtDanPaul3D. Dollars isn't really the currency I'm familiar with, so I hope the prices I've set up are somewhat fair. Do be kind to me since this really is my first time announcing commissions for anything really. I have no reference for how many of you guys would take my offer, so if ever that all the 3 slots would be taken before I get to you, I dearly apologize for it. And I guess that's all for this video. Here's the video's completed model.